Welcome to Santa Fe College's Career Coffee Shop. I am James Schindler, coordinator for the Career and Job Placement Office. It is so hard to believe that it was 6 months ago that we began Career Coffee Shop. Our goal with Career Coffee Shop was to be a live, reoccurring show offering workforce, career, and degree information, as well as referral to resources at Santa Fe College and in our community. We hope we have provided you a relaxed, open forum with hosts and guest speakers who truly care about your dreams and respect your time and your money. This program was designed to guide you and, more importantly, connect you to the people and programs that open doors to your future. And hopefully you also learned a thing or two about coffee. This will be our last show for 2020, and we have chosen some of our favorite clips from past episodes to bring back one more time. Moving into 2021, we have read your comments and are looking for additional creative and entertaining ways to welcome in a new series of Career Coffee Shop episodes in the coming year. I want to take a minute to recognize the people who have helped to make this show such a great success. First and foremost, a very special thanks goes out to my co-host, Izzy. She and I clicked from day one, and I have truly enjoyed her unique perspectives and input on each and every show. I also want to thank the original crew. First off, Julie Crosby. You know, the original idea or concept for this show was her brainchild. She introduced the idea and let Iz and I run with it. Quentin Iman, coordinator for the admissions department. He has been behind the scenes from day one, super supportive, and helped with coordination from the very beginning. And Miguel Maya, our communications person. Without Miguel, I'm not sure we could have pulled this off in such a short time frame. And while I know we made plenty of mistakes, Miguel kept us from making the really big ones. There are, of course, many others that have contributed their time and resources, so know that we could not have gotten this far without each and every one of you. So from the heart, it has been a pleasure working with each one of you on this project, and I look forward to even greater things in 2021. Thank you.
James, it has been incredible getting to work with you and getting to work with our team and being able to share information about Santa Fe College and the other opportunities in our area. It has definitely been an incredible journey, and I feel so grateful to have been part of this. Now, speaking of journey, let's watch some of our previous episodes that we have covered over the last couple of months.
I'm going to get started today, guys. I appreciate you guys having me on Coffee Chat. Really a different setup. So I'm just going to start a little bit by talking about turning your career or turning your talent into a career. So what I do over in the ITE department at Santa Fe College is I really talk to students about where they're at, what they currently do, and how they currently use technology. As you know, most people in today's society are a lot more exposed to technology than people, let's say 30, 40 years ago, because it's cheaper, it's more readily available. In the midst of this pandemic, you've probably noticed that technology companies such as Zoom have really exploded. And that being the case, we're going to need more technology professionals. Currently, prior to this explosion, the need for technology people was growing by about 33% a year, with the exception of IT security, which I'll talk about in a few. The reality of it is we put out a lot of IT folks, but not quite enough to fill that need nationally or globally. So today I'm going to talk to you briefly about a few of our degrees and what those degrees do. So first and foremost, I want to highlight two of our newer VCs. We have two new VCs. VCs are vocational certificates for those that don't know. And the first one is going to be Help Desk Support Technician. This is a VC that's designed to provide IT support and troubleshooting for companies that essentially work on the internet or use computers. So this can be anywhere from your local insurance company to the school board of Alachua County to the school board of wherever you're at. All right. Mostly, since we're talking about North Central Florida, I highlighted school board of Alachua County. Don't hold that against me. I think they're a great school board, and I'm a product of that school board. The next VC is Information Technology Support Specialist. This VC is designed to install, analyze, and review risk. This VC, there is a little bit more about troubleshooting systems, if you will. So this person is going to take a few more classes than the first VC I mentioned. Both VCs are designed for, all VCs are designed for you to complete within a year. All right. That is assuming you're going full time. If you're not going full-time, give me a call, shoot me an email, and we'll work out the logistics of how you figure out and how you map through those courses. The other VCs we offer are network server, network security, network infrastructure, programming specialist, computer programmer. Keep in mind the VCs are designed to add a skill set to your resume, a hard skill set that you're able to use in a practical setting. AS and BAS. I can't talk today. Must not have had enough of this drink yet. So for the AS, we have 4 different umbrella degrees, if you will. We have computer information technology, IT security, programming, and then network systems technology. So all of these have subsets, or they have or they have elective paths that you can choose. So you can take a couple additional courses and have a specialization in something else, okay? So for all of these degrees, the degree that's really the hot button for us right now is IT security. As I mentioned earlier, there's about 6 million available jobs currently in the US that are unfilled that we are training people to take or to enter the career field into those roles. So for these degrees, computer information technology is really designed to keep things up and operational, keep things going or supported. Network system technology is really designed to make sure that it works. You know, maybe not Band-Aid and duct tape it, but make sure that that equipment is working so that that information can be shared and stored. Programming, these guys create or develop it. You could even say design, but I would say that these guys are more the creative type. And then you have, oh, I mentioned that. Oops, my bad. So for the BAS, we have 3 concentrations. We have a programming concentration, a networking concentration, and a security concentration. Yep, you guessed it. They are fed by those AS degrees and what's called the 2+2 articulation for the state of Florida, which means essentially you complete the first 2 years of your degree, and then you transition on to the second 2 years of that bachelor's degree, hopefully completing in 4 years. So one of the things that I would tell you is that the AS degree is about $6,500 all the way through. That's right, 60 credit hours, $6,500. For the bachelor's degree, it's a little bit more than that. It's probably about $7,000. So for $13,500, you can complete all the way throughout a bachelor's degree in IT. Most people leave the bachelor's degree making somewhere in the neighborhood of $75,000 to $100,000 a year. I tell students, you probably don't want to just enter the degree for the money, but if it's something you like, it's something that you're good at, and we can train you on doing it, then why not get paid for it, right? So a couple more things I'm going to touch on, and the last thing is practical education versus theoretical. The IT program at Santa Fe is a practical-based program, which in short means that we're going to teach you how to put your hands on it, how to code it, how to secure it, how to make it operational, whether that's taking a PC apart and putting it back together blindfolded. Okay, I'm just joking. We won't blindfold you. But we are going to teach you how to take that machine apart. We are going to teach you how to troubleshoot that machine, how to change out RAM, how to write that program, whether it be in C++, Python, Java, JavaScript. We are going to touch base on a lot of concepts so that when you get out, you're holistic as it relates to IT.
We're saving the best for last. We have Miss Tina Triller, Director of Dental and Dental Hygiene Programs at Santa Fe College. Tina, the floor is yours.
Morning, thank you. Yeah, as you mentioned, I am the Director of the Dental Programs here, but I am also wearing my alumni t-shirt because I went to our Dental Assisting and Hygiene Bridge programs. And my coffee story is I became an avid coffee drinker in my course of going through those 2 programs. So that's really where it got kicked up a notch, and I still have I need more than just a little small coffee cup. I have my large tumbler here that I have throughout the morning. So there's my coffee story. But yes, I'm so excited to share about our programs because, like Sally, I'm also a graduate of these programs, and I feel like I can really speak to the success that our students have and the high demand in the community. So I have prepared a little presentation which I would like to share. Oops, let me see here. I'm going to share my screen if that's okay. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Looks okay? All right. So we have 3 different dental programs, a couple different options for students to choose from. We have dental assisting, dental hygiene, and hygiene bridge. And so what I'll do now is just go through very quickly of what the difference is between the programs and the profession. So the first program I'll talk about is dental assisting. This is a certificate program. It's a 10-month program, just 2.5 semesters. Our students receive over 1,200 contact hours. That's in clinics, labs, and classrooms. We are an accredited program it's a branch of the American Dental Association. And when our students graduate here, they are certified in all expanded functions that are deemed appropriate by the Florida Board of Dentistry that they'll be able to go out and practice. What does a dental assistant do? A dental assistant is essentially the right-hand man of the dentist. They're the ones that have everything set up, ready to go whenever there's a procedure. They're there throughout the entire procedure, assisting the dentist with the fillings, crowns, extractions, root canals, braces, all the fun stuff that us dental people love. So highly engaged with the dentist. The dentist cannot do their job without the dental assistant. So working one-on-one with the dentist all day. They do some procedures independently, such as taking radiographs, taking impressions, oral hygiene and education. We also train our students for the administrative side of dentistry as well, for office management tasks. A couple of quick stats on dental assisting. This picture here, this was our most recent graduation for dental assisting. It was a graduation like we had never done before. We did it outside, we did a drive-through pinning, but we got our students through with all their contact hours and kept them going in clinic when we were able to return. So our class, the entire class graduated. We were so proud of them. So this class that has graduated, they are entering an awesome career. It is number 12 out of the top 100 best healthcare support jobs. Median salary is a little bit over $40,000 a year. Nationally, it's just a little bit above 97% employment rate, but internally for our program, we consistently place our students at 100% employment rate. The last semester of the program, the students are doing their internships, and the majority of our students have jobs even before they graduate. Our hygiene programs. So the 2 options we have here, there's the traditional hygiene program, which is a 2-year program. It's an AS degree. Both are AS degrees. But the hygiene traditional track will take 4.5 semesters. The bridge program is 3.5 semesters, but students need to graduate from an accredited assisting program. It can be ours or another, but it does need to be accredited. And they have to have 1 year clinical work experience serving as a chairside dental assistant to qualify for the program. Our hygiene program, when students graduate, they're dually trained. So they're competent in the hygiene skills, but also they receive those same expanded functions trainings that the dental assistants do. So highly marketable for our graduates. All other competencies that they can perform that we train our students on is in administering local anesthesia, radiography, and nitrous oxide as well. And then our students, once they complete our program, they're able to sit for national and state boards. So a hygienist is a licensed healthcare provider, and graduating from this program qualifies them to sit for these licensures and credentialing exams. The job description of a dental hygienist, how is an assistant different than a hygienist? The hygienist works a little bit more independently. They have their own schedule, they have their own patients, they're working on more of the preventative end, so doing the cleanings, where the assistant is working with the dentist, providing treatment to the patient as far as like restoring teeth, fillings, crowns, like I mentioned. So the hygienist performs similar duties as the dental assistant, such as taking radiographs, x-rays. We also train them on the administrative side, but again, they're working a little bit more independently on the preventative end of dentistry. Here is our picture of our most recent graduating class for hygiene. Again, a very unique graduation. This was our assistant class was our first, I guess, COVID graduation, and then our hygiene class. was our second one. So we still got them through. They were an amazing group of women that just pushed through, and they overcame a lot to get where they were in that picture for their graduation. They are entering an amazing career, ranked number one out of 100 out of the 100 best healthcare support jobs. Median salary is a little bit over 76,000, and again, very highly, very strong job market. Almost 99% national, but we again place our students at 100% employment rate. What are the advantages of working in the field of dentistry? There's a variety of things that you can do. It may seem like, oh, I'm just going to go work in a dental office, but there are a lot of different settings that you can work at, even in a hospital for an emergency room. Patients that come in with a toothache to the emergency room, that might sound odd, but they need dental professionals in hospital settings as well. Even nursing homes, there's dental vans, we have travel programs. So very diverse area to work, just if you're interested in options beyond just a private practice. Flexibility, a lot of our graduates, some work full-time, some work part-time. The good thing about being a hygienist is a lot of times they can set their own schedule to some degree. And then there's personal satisfaction that you're being an active participant in providing somebody with excellent care to improve their health and their oral health as well. And also excellent working conditions. Typically, we don't work nights, we don't work weekends, nice office setting, it's pretty great. So for our clinic specifically, we do have on-site here, this is one of the things that we like to brag about for our programs. We do have 2 fully functional dental clinics. We're open to the public, so we're able to provide a lot of hands-on experience to our students. We just updated our clinic in 2018, and actually right now we're doing another mini renovation in response to COVID to put up some partitions between those chairs that you can see there, and then just a couple of other safety enhancements that we're doing. We also have a radiology lab, a dental materials lab, and again, our clinic is open to the public. We provide cleanings, fillings, crowns. Also, UF dental students do rotations through our clinic as well, and our students go there. So there's a lot of great experience that our students gain from that. So that is another picture of our clinic there. So yes, that is my pitch on dental and why it's so amazing. So again, thank you for having me here.
Tina, a quick question for you. This is probably more out of my curiosity. Dental students work on each other in class and in training, is that correct?
That is correct. So in addition to our clinic being open to the public, first we have them work on mannequins, and then they work on each other, and then they work on real patients. So yeah, our students need their teeth cleaned just like anybody else. Our students need fillings and sealants. So yeah, they typically do start off on each other after they start off on the mannequins, and then we set them free to start practicing like they would in the office.
Please welcome Sandra Torres Pintos and Nick McMillan from Santa Fe Veterans and Military Success Services. Now, I know you learned to love coffee, or at least I did while I was in the military, so no doubt at least one of you has a coffee story you'd like to share with us this morning. Nick, Sandra, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, James.
I'll have to share my coffee story from my first duty station. So my first duty station was in Iwakuni, Japan, and obviously Marines. Once a week, we do what we call field day and clean up our workspaces. And in that, me being my OCD South neat freak, I decided to clean all the coffee cups and scrub them out, not knowing that my supervisor, my staff sergeant at the time, did not like his coffee cup clean because he felt that it seasoned his coffee. It tasted much better if it just sat in there the whole time without cleaning it. So needless to say, it wasn't a very good experience my first time around as I hear my staff sergeant screaming, "Who cleaned my coffee cup?" So obviously, things didn't maybe start off so well for me. That's my coffee story.
Yeah, mine is, so the Navy, it was coffee always makes everything bearable. But the one that really comes to mind is actually here at Santa Fe College. While I am the veteran specialist here at Santa Fe College, I was also a work study here before that. And while I didn't meet my wife here on campus, our relationship really blossomed in our office. Every afternoon she'd come in and we'd have lunch together, and then we'd make a cup of coffee. And that's when we did a lot of our discussions, and we learned a lot about each other.
So in our office, as you can see, both me and Nick are veterans. Our entire staff, pretty much in our office, are veterans. And with that said, we're also both Santa Fe alum. And as alum, we really understand what it's like to transition out of the military and come into academia. And it could be very challenging and have many barriers. And so me and Nick and the rest of the staff really can relate to all of our students and their families as they come and start their new academic goals and journey at Santa Fe College. We feel that we treat our students from a holistic fashion. In other words, we're not just there to take care of their GI Bill and get them their funding. We're there to make sure that everything about them is settled. We're very connected to the Gainesville community, such as the VA hospital and the Alachua County Veteran Services. So we connect our veterans to even outside resources. We want to make sure that when they start college at Santa Fe College, that they have nothing else to worry about. Their finances are in place, their families are being taken care of, their medical needs are being taken care of. So we really take pride in just providing an overall good service to our students when they come to Santa Fe. We take their experience very personally in our office. And Nick can probably give you a little bit of his experience even as a student at Santa Fe.
Oh, for sure. See, I have a unique experience myself. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and I started off my career in my educational career at University of Toledo. Around that time is when the post 9/11 GI Bill was going into effect, is when Congress signed it in, and the beginning of the year is when it was going to start up. But what I didn't realize, because the military doesn't always give the best exportation from the military, is that I can also utilize the Montgomery GI Bill. And when I went to the office, the school certifying official there just pretty much wanted me to sign over to Chapter 33, which is the post 9/11 GI Bill. Because I did that, I lost out on a year of GI Bill benefits. But when I moved down here to Florida and I walked into the doors of Santa Fe College, that's where I met Sandra and the workspace staff at that point. It was a whole new experience. It was surreal, in fact. It wasn't just about, as we said, our educational benefits. They got me situated with my health care, even had me consider the idea of using the VA disability, something I never even considered about applying for in the past. So if it wasn't for the office, I mean, I don't know where I would be at this point. I'm very happy this office existed in the first place.
Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well, and I gotta give Nick and Sandra praise too. They do a great job with our students. I have lots of vets in my programs. So a lot of people don't know that over 50 years ago, when Santa Fe College started, we started out as the technical school for Alachua County, and all along we've really kept these programs. We kind of get overshadowed by our liberal arts side that sends all those students to Florida. But we've had these vocational programs for a long time, and because they're well established, they're great programs to consider. So unlike other areas of the college where you spend most of your time in a classroom, we've got shops and we do things. So I've got lots of pictures to share, so let's start out by doing that. Okay, so we teach all our construction classes in the Charles R. Perry Construction Institute. This is a state-of-the-art building that we built about 13 years ago. It is a LEED certified green building, and it's the first green building that was built on any Santa Fe campus. We make our own electricity and hot water, and the whole building is designed around sustainability. This is the best feature of the building, is the large layout area that's in the back, and that allows us to do what we do, which is build a house every year. This is a Habitat for Humanity home, so this partnership is a great thing. Habitat gets the free labor from our students. They get a job site that never gets rained on, so they bring their own crews out at times. And our students learn about whatever trade they're learning by working on the house. So whether it's the construction management program or the trades programs, they all get to work on this house. So speaking of construction, our department got started many years ago because we were sending people to the University of Florida and teaching some of the prerequisite classes that UF required. A lot of people don't know that the University of Florida is the oldest school of construction in the nation. So going to UF and getting a bachelor's degree in construction there is a lot like going to Yale and getting a law degree from that school. Here are some of our AS students and AA students working together, putting the floor together in one of our homes. This happens basically in the fall term, right in around September. You learn a lot of framing, as well as the mechanical aspects of the building while it goes up. One of the best parts is when that building goes out the door and we put it on the foundation here in Gainesville somewhere, and a very happy family moves into it. It's a very big day for everybody.
Good morning, everybody. I'm excited to be here and to talk with you all a little bit about financial aid at Santa Fe College, although the information that I'm going to give you today is broadly applicable to just about anywhere you would attend that has federal financial aid programs. So there may be some Santa Fe specific stuff here, and we would love if you would come and attend at Santa Fe, but if your plan is to attend elsewhere, this information will be useful for you as well. Just gonna pull up my presentation here and get started. So the main thing that I'm here to discuss with you today is the fact that on October 1st, so just a few days away now, the FAFSA for the 2021-2022 school year is going to be opening up. Yes, that means next fall in 2021 is what this FAFSA is for. But it opens on October 1st. And the reason that we are encouraging people to go ahead and fill that out, whether you're already enrolled in school or if you're planning on attending next fall, is there are several limited fund programs that are kind of first come, first served. We certainly have programs that have a virtually unlimited amount of funds, but there are some that you will qualify for if you apply earlier. So it's always best to get that taken care of as early as possible. So if you're currently enrolled in school, you got to complete the FAFSA every year. So you might as well do it early, October 1st. And if you are planning to enroll next fall, you might as well do it early and take care of it on October 1st. And there's actually really no harm in applying, even if you're unsure about your plans. So please, if you're thinking about attending school next year, starting in the fall, go ahead and fill out that FAFSA. If you're thinking spring, there's also a FAFSA out there. It's been out there since last October 1st. And that is the 2020-2021 FAFSA. And that's already out there and available for you. All of these FAFSAs can be accessed on studentaid.gov. It's right there for you, real big on the left-hand side of your screen. If Santa Fe College is where you're planning to attend, there's our school code, although you don't need to even write it down or remember it because you can easily search it within the application. So it's not something you necessarily have to have right on hand, but if you want it, it's there, as well as any other school that you plan on attending. If you're thinking about attending somewhere, go ahead and throw it on your FAFSA. They'll get your financial aid information. They'll put a package together for you of financial aid. And so that's kind of the main things in regards to this. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide here and talk a little bit about the things that you're going to need in order to complete your FAFSA application. And the first of these is the username and password, which is the FSA ID. I recommend going in and doing your FSA ID now, even if you're going to wait till October 1st to do the FAFSA for next fall, because it can take a couple of days for it to be validated sometimes. So please go ahead and get that set up now. You can go to studentaid.gov to get that set up. You'll need your social security number. For the FAFSA that is opening on October 1st, you will need your 2019 tax information. Although what we highly recommend is within the FAFSA application, there's the IRS data retrieval tool, which if your information lines up, you'll be able to instantly transfer your tax information for 2019 right into the FAFSA. And what this helps you do is avoid something called verification, which is the reason the financial aid process can take so long, because we have to start requesting all these different documents for you. But if you use the data retrieval tool, it'll avoid the most common verification documents, which is having to verify your tax return information. So definitely have that 2019 tax information available to you so that when you go to authenticate yourself in the data retrieval tool, that the information is correct. One of the biggest issues with being able to use the data retrieval tool is putting in the wrong address. You're going to need to use the address from when you filed the tax, the address you put on your tax return that is relevant for that FAFSA application. So if it's asking for your 2019 tax records, you're going to need to know the address that you put on your 2019 taxes. And I know there are a lot of people that move a lot, and so that can be the biggest reason you get an error and aren't able to use the tool. So please make sure that you have that available to you. Records of any untaxed income, records of your assets, such as what's in your bank accounts, if you own stocks, etc. And then obviously a list of schools you're interested in, and we're definitely hoping that Santa Fe College is one of those that you're going to consider applying for. So these are the things that you're going to want to have together for completing the FAFSA. And then just a few tips and tricks here. I'm not going to go through all of these items on here, but here's 10 common mistakes when completing the FAFSA. And the first one here is not filling it out. Even if you don't think you're eligible for aid, there's no harm in filling it out. It's not like it runs a credit check. There's no credit score. There's none of that. So there's absolutely no harm in completing the FAFSA. And you'd be amazed what you might be eligible for. So please go ahead and fill it out. It's a worthwhile process. You'll notice the next one on here is not filling it out as soon as it's available. There are funds, like I said, there are programs that are limited funds. So you want to make sure that you fill it out early so that you can have access to some of these programs, especially some of the early grant programs, because that's free money. That's money that doesn't need to be paid back. And several of these limited access programs are grants. Okay, let's see here. Obviously, inputting incorrect information would be a big mistake. Please try to make your FAFSA as correct as possible. It can definitely slow down the process. If you need to save it and come back later to make sure you have the correct information, that's very important. They also note here that a big mistake would be not using the IRS data retrieval tool. If you can qualify and use it, it's going to make your FAFSA process substantially more simple for you. So please use that data retrieval tool. Now, something that's important to point out here is that once your FAFSA is completed, it comes to us and we evaluate it. And then we're going to produce something called the EFC, the expected family contribution, which is what we use to determine your aid package. So that's kind of the first step in this process. We can't do anything about anything related to special circumstances you might have until you have a FAFSA in place. So if you're in a situation where your income has gone way down since your 2019 taxes that you would be using on this FAFSA, you still need to fill it out with the 2019 information, and then there's a process that we can work you through to take care of that special circumstance. If there's some kind of different situation than was in the past on your 2019 taxes in any way, still complete it accurately with the information that you have, fill it out as best as possible, and then you can reach out to us and we can assist you with making sure that your current situation is properly reflected on the FAFSA. So that's a little bit about tips and tricks and some of the things that you should look forward to when completing your FAFSA. If you're looking to attend in the spring, you can get on there now and complete the 2020-2021 FAFSA and get your aid set up for the spring. I highly recommend you do that now. This process can take some time, especially if you're selected by the government for verification. And then if you're looking at fall next year on October 1st, when that FAFSA opens, get out there and fill it out as soon as possible, especially if you're already attending school. But if you're planning to attend in the fall, that's what you need to do. And I'll go ahead and kick it back to Izzy and James.
Colin, we do have some questions, but real quick, I just want to say, I sure wish I'd have had that data retrieval tool when I was going through this, because I remember how hard it was to pull all of that tax information. So what a great change to the program. Please welcome Mary Roa, whom I understand is a native of Venezuela. And joining her this morning is Mike Laffey from Santa Fe's International Student Services. Welcome to you both.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Izzy. We're very happy to be here.
Thank you. Sorry. I was going to say, Mary, if you could tell us a little bit about Hispanic Heritage Month and what that means to you, it would be great.
Yes, absolutely. So every year since 1988, the United States celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, as you said, from September 15th to October 15th, to recognize the history, traditions, and contributions to American society and culture of Hispanic communities, as well as their significant presence in the population today, because there are almost 60 million people, Hispanic people, currently in the US. And in Santa Fe, there are actually 20 countries represented by students. So definitely Santa Fe embraces that diversity. I will talk a little bit about the creation of the Hispanic celebration. So this idea was created by President Lyndon Johnson, and it was developed between 1967 and 1969. And the main purpose is that to recognize the Hispanic American contribution along these years. So who is considered Hispanic? A person whose origins are from like that your ancestors or you come from a place, a country where you speak Spanish. And what is the difference between Latinos and Hispanics? I think this is a really important topic, because when I was a little, I didn't know how to recognize myself. Should I say that I am a Latina? Should I say that I'm a Hispanic? So the main difference is Latinos are referenced by geography. So basically they are located in South and Central America. And Hispanic refers to language. So every people that speaks Spanish is considered a Hispanic person. So there are a lot of people, a lot of famous people, and I will mention some of them. So there is Carolina Herrera, Carlos Slim, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, Marco Rubio. There are so many important people that represent so much, and especially that diversity in this country. So I believe that the Hispanic Heritage Month is a really important celebration to show that diversity around the world.
Mike, anything to add to that?
I would just add, Mary did a great summary there and description of Hispanic Heritage Month and how it came to be here in the US. And we've done a great job, I think, here at Santa Fe, and I think we've done it in the past as well, celebrating the diversity of our students and of our Hispanic students, and they make up such a good population of our student body here. And the Student Life Department, the Office of Student Life, has done some great stuff promoting this month and celebrating the diversity and the background and traditions and cultures and customs of our Hispanic students.
Yes, Mike, you mentioned something about Student Life, and everything that they do, they always take a moment and they always promote something. And I think it's absolutely wonderful what they do. So Mary, from the student perspective, what are some things you notice being done to recognize Hispanic Heritage Month?
So I believe that especially on Instagram, I have seen so many posts and stories about Hispanic Heritage Month, and not only they are informative, they are also they let students interact with those stories. So I have seen trivias and contests and like winning prizes about Hispanic Heritage Month. Especially they also, especially Student Life, they did playlist, which is amazing because I believe that the music is something really important, and like including that in this celebration was a really good idea. And they have done, they did a list for Hispanic and like movies. So I believe that I have seen a lot of activities towards the Hispanic Heritage Month done in Santa Fe.
Mary, you mentioned a contest. I happened to come across that this morning when I was looking at the Santa Fe website. It was a trivia contest. I was just curious, did you enter it, and did you happen to win one of those prizes?
Yes, I did. I won an Amazon gift card for like the question trivia it was. So it was really cool, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. And Mary, since this is Career Coffee Shop, is there a coffee or hot drink that was your favorite in your household growing up?
Well, I believe yes, because Venezuela is one of the main producers of coffee and we're right next to Colombia. So definitely coffee is in every Venezuelan house. So I believe yes, I would say that my favorite one is the café con leche, which is only like coffee with milk, but the combination and having that in the morning to start your day is just amazing. So I believe that that simple combination is just perfect.
Please welcome Sari Sanborn, joining us from Santa Fe's Perry Center, who will be telling us all about emerging technologies. The floor is yours.
Thank you, James, and thank you for having me here on Career Coffee Chat for Santa Fe College. I am the academic specialist for emerging technologies at the Perry Center for Santa Fe. Our facility is located outside of the high-tech corridor area across from Progress Park on 441. We have a small building that was established in 2009 with some high-tech labs, and we do have several classrooms. Our facility we offer 6 emerging technology programs. The first one is very attainable. It's only 9 weeks long, and it will get you out of minimum wage. It pays between $13 and $15 an hour as a phlebotomist. Phlebotomists are people that do blood draw through venipuncture for specimen collection. And all you need is a GED or a high school diploma to qualify for this program. Our program is Biotechnology Laboratory Technician. Essentially, you're a lab tech in a lab, and it could be a forensics lab, it can be a research lab for genetics, or even working with a group of scientists that are trying to find a vaccine for COVID-19. The program is only 1.5 years long, and it does offer you an Associate of Science degree with an internship at the end. Lab technicians make between $34,000 and $40,000 starting pay here in this area of Florida. Our third program is another Associate of Science degree in chemistry, which is a chemistry technician. So they're a technician that has a strong chemistry background. And that is 1.5 years, and it does offer you between $38,000 and $45,000 starting pay. I have a third Associate of Science degree, which deals with electronics, and that's called Biomedical Equipment Technician. The biomeds are vital when it comes to repairing and maintaining medical equipment. So for example, the heart monitor, the respirator, somebody has to maintain them and keep them calibrated. As some of my biomeds tell me, once you take apart one respirator, they're all pretty much the same. That's a lucrative field. There's a high demand in the country for biomeds, and they start out between 38 and 40,000 in this area of Florida. It's a 1.5 year long program with an internship at the end. Now we lead into the bachelor's degrees for emerging technologies, and that is clinical laboratory science. The clinical laboratory science technician, they are people who are in the labs that are isolating specimens. They're training to become med techs in hospitals. They are the heroes behind the scenes that are collecting specimens, isolating the specimen to determine what is making a human or an animal sick. They also have to pass a certification before they are in the workforce like nurses. It's called ASCP certification. So that group of people, they are saving lives, diagnosing, and one of those is COVID-19. They typically start between 45 and 50,000 for a starting pay. That is a 4-year long bachelor's degree for high school graduate right out of high school. We do accept transfer students into the clinical lab science program. Those transfer students can bring in completed coursework like immunology, biochemistry, hematology. So yes, we do accept transfer students into the clinical lab science bachelor's degree as well. And that you have between 2 to 2.5 years, depending on how much coursework you have left to take to complete the program. Our second bachelor's degree is industrial biotechnology. What is industrial biotechnology? Very important. You are a technician, a scientist, research scientist that could be working on pollution control, conservation. You could be in product development, pharmaceuticals. You essentially have that foundation to do research in a lab with a group of scientists. The industrial biotech graduate will start out working between 42 and 45,000 starting pay. So those are my programs in a nutshell, and I'm open to any questions if anybody has any.
We do have a couple of questions for you. That first one would be, how do students find out more about your programs and getting started?
I would love to see anyone. I am open for Zoom appointments. I'm also here at the Perry Center for walk-ins. Walk-ins will be seen in the conference room or a large classroom for COVID safety reasons. You can also get in touch with me through my email address or my phone number that's listed in the survey directory or the information pages on the Perry Center website.
People have been looking up to the stars for as long as we have populated this planet. I used to think the sky was still, a static display of sorts, but boy, was I wrong. I sit outside almost every evening looking up at the night sky. In addition to aircraft, I watch shooting stars. I dream about seeing a comet. I sometimes catch a quick reflection of the sun reflecting off of a satellite. And not to be left out, once in a great while, I see the unknown.
Yes, James. So I grew up in a small county, specifically Hamilton County to be exact. And living out in the country, you don't realize how much city light really affects how much you can see in the sky. So anytime I get to go home, I make it a goal to always look at the stars, because since it's out in the country, there's no city lights and you can see all the stars. And it's so bright that it feels like you can almost touch the stars yourself. So speaking of stars, please welcome James Albury from the Planetarium here to wow us with his knowledge of the extraterrestrial. Welcome, James.
Hello, everyone, and I am James Albury, the director of the Kika Silva Pla Planetarium, and I'd like to welcome you to my house. So, I've got my friends here with me, and we're going to head on inside the planetarium. See you in a bit. Hello, and welcome to the Kika Silva Pla Planetarium, and as you can tell, I'm wearing a mask that almost matches my tie. So the planetarium, we are now 14 years old. We were dedicated in September of 2006, and it is now, we've been in operation for 14 years. Now for the last several months, we've been closed due to COVID-19, but we're gonna be hopefully reopening again soon for private reservations. So if you check out our website here at Santa Fe College, you'll be able to find out more information about that. So I've been director here for 11 years, and not only do we have planetarium shows where you can learn about space and stars and planets, but we also have programs where you can learn about archaeoastronomy with the Maya, or you can learn about biology and learn about evolution and so forth, and we can even take you on a journey from Earth to any of the other planets in our solar system. So again, if you check our website, you'll be able to find more information about that. This is our space simulator. It's a Chronos space projector, basically, and what it is, it has several projectors on the top and bottom. These cylinders here, they spin, and they have mirrors on them that project the positions of the planets. And overall, this projector can project 8,000 stars on the ceiling. And as you can tell, our ceiling is curved. So when you come into the planetarium, it feels as if you're outside looking at the stars. So there are 16 lenses on the southern hemisphere and 16 on the northern hemisphere, and they project sections of the night sky, very similar to what you see on that pattern you see on a soccer ball. And then I can set the console controls to any date in history, thousands of years in the past or in the future, and I can show you exactly what the sky looked like on any date in history. So if you ever come to the planetarium and want to see what the sky looked like on your birthday or your anniversary, we can show you that. And when we purchased this projector, it cost more than my house, almost $250,000 when we purchased it. So after 14 years, it's still running smoothly. So hopefully we'll have a chance for y'all to come by and see it. I started my planetarium journey when I was very young. When I was about 6 years old, my parents took me to a planetarium in Miami. And after that point, I enjoyed astronomy so much that we'd go to the library and I always check out books on astronomy and science and NASA and the space program. And when I was 13, my dad took me to see a planetarium show called Child of the Universe. And that show was produced by Jack Horkheimer, the director of that planetarium. And the show inspired me so much that I actually talked to the person who was operating the machine that day. And I asked him, how does a person get to do what you do for a living? So they brought me on as an apprentice at that planetarium, and I worked as a volunteer for the first year from 14 to 15 years old. And then when I turned 15, they hired me part-time to actually operate their machine. Their machine was much bigger than this one. But it was really cool that I got to work in a planetarium before I could even drive a car. One of the things that I like most about astronomy is that you can participate in it on any level. You can be an amateur astronomer and just study the stars from your own backyard, or you can be a little more hardcore with it and buy your own telescope, or you can be a member of an astronomy club like the one we have here in Gainesville. We have the Alachua Astronomy Club, and we have meetings monthly. A lot of them are all on Zoom at the moment, but quarterly they'll meet here at the planetarium. And then you could become a professional astronomer, either working in a planetarium like I do, or you can work at a college or a university or work at an observatory. And there are a lot of resources out there, and I can share links with you to the American Astronomical Society, where they actually have a whole section of their website devoted to careers in astronomy. So if you are wanting to become an astronomer, Santa Fe College, we do have an astronomy major program where you can major in astronomy and then transfer to the University of Florida. And quite a few of the students who've worked with me have actually left Santa Fe College and gone and applied to the astrophysics program at UF, and they're working with them over there in their coursework. So that is definitely a route that you can choose. Excellent. Okay, so the number of stars that our projector here can project are the number of stars you can see with the naked eye from the surface of the Earth, and that's around 8,000 stars. However, the galaxy itself contains over 100 billion stars. So unfortunately, we can't see all those with the naked eye, but our digital projector, which is the one down here next to me, we can actually simulate all 100 billion stars, and we can fly to each of those stars. And if any of the stars have planets, those are already pre-programmed into the system where we can visit those extrasolar planets. And one of the things we like to do with the students, particularly the ones who attend our space camp that we have through Santa Fe College, I'll take them to a different planet and they can make their own constellations using the same stars that we use. But when you go to a different solar system, the stars are all in different positions. So Orion doesn't look like Orion anymore. He looks more like a lawnmower or a baby buggy because the stars all change position. But my favorite constellation, I have two of them. I have Scorpius, which is my favorite summer constellation because it actually looks like what it's supposed to look like. And it also looks like the letter J, which is the first letter of my name, first name. And then my other favorite is Orion. He is a bright constellation in the winter sky. And you'll be able to see Orion in the sky in just a few months. If you wake up early in the morning, like about 5 or 6 in the morning, you can see Orion easily in the southern part of the sky. And I like both those constellations because they're actually part of the same story. Orion was boasting about what a great hunter he was. So he was out hunting all sorts of creatures. And he said, you know, I could hunt anything in the world. I can hunt any creature that's out there. Well, Gaia, the goddess of the earth, she was very upset about him boasting. So she sent Scorpius the scorpion to teach him a lesson. So while he was out hunting, the scorpion came along and stung him on the ankle. And the poison was so strong that it killed Orion. Now, according to that story, Ophiuchus, who was a friend of Orion, he saw what happened, and he gave Orion an antidote that cured him from brought him back to life. So in honor of that, Zeus put a picture of Orion in the sky, and Gaia put an image of the scorpion in the sky. And from their positions in the sky, it looks like they're constantly chasing each other. So you'll see Scorpius setting, and then several hours later, you'll see Orion rising, and they look like they're chasing each other in the sky. Okay, so I do have my own astronomy series on YouTube. The series is called The Sky Above Us, and I created the series back in the early part of 2020. Back in February, we debuted our first episode, The March of the Planets. And I did that because I originally was the co-host of Stargazers on PBS, and Dean Regas from the Cincinnati Observatory, he and I hosted that show for 9 years. And when we no longer hosted the show, I thought, you know, I still would like to share my love of astronomy with everybody. So I started producing the show with some help from a couple of my friends here at Santa Fe College. We actually produce it, and we debut episodes every 2 weeks on the 15th and the 30th of the month. And most recently, we talked about the blue pumpkin moon, which is the full moon on Halloween this year. And as luck would have it, with all the other fun stuff that's been happening during 2020, we got a full moon on Halloween. And we only get a full moon on Halloween every 19 years, so who would have thought it would have timed itself just right? And we have a Friday the 13th in November, so yeah. But anyway, it was a beautiful full moon, if you happen to see it. And then Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn are all lined up in the sky. And Mars is very bright right now. So we encourage you to go outside and look up and take a look at that. And then Jupiter and Saturn, when we get to the end of the year, on December 21st, Jupiter and Saturn are going to appear so close to each other that they'll look almost like one star. This will be the closest that Jupiter and Saturn will have appeared in the sky together since 1623. So I'm praying for clear skies, because we have a saying called the Horkheimer effect, and we named it after Jack because the rule of it's kind of like Murphy's Law for astronomers. The probability of cloud cover is directly proportional to the awesomeness of the event you're trying to show people. So if it's going to be something you won't see for another 2,000 years, it's going to be cloudy. But we pray it won't be cloudy.
Well, that's the end of our show. To all of our fans and everyone that has supported us for the last 6 months, thank you so much for watching, and have a great new year. We'll see you next time.